Welcome back to Peek into COS. Today, I'm joined by Sam Cobble, one of the owners of Manitou E-Bike Company. Welcome, Sam.
Thanks for having me, Doug.
It's great to have you here, my friend. We really want to kind of hear your story of, because it's you and your dad, right?
Yes, sir.
That have started this business with your dad, Greg. Has cycling been a lifelong passion, or is it something that, how'd you guys come up with this?
It's a long story.
It's all right. We got a half hour, man.
Well, cycling, I've obviously grew up riding bikes around, going off ramps, doing the best mountain biking I could do in Kansas.
Sure, in Kansas.
But
a little asterisk there,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, mountain asterisk biking. But anyways, I've always liked biking. Me and my dog go along on bike rides, so that's
what kind of dog you got?
She's a Husky Pit mix, so she's got all the energy in the world. And I adopted her when she was like 11 months, and I'm like, there's got to be a way to exercise these demons. And I just started walking her alongside the bike to kind of train her, and then rode the bike with her, and she got really comfortable with that fast. And that's when I really started spending like the most time on bike. So it doesn't directly correlate with the business. That whole inception story is a little different.
Sure.
That's kind of how I fell in love with biking. So
okay. So how old's your dog now?
She's 8.
She's 8. So your dog has been at your side.
Yeah.
and kind of a little bit of an inspiration. Well, you mentioned that you've lived in this area just for about 3 years. Yeah. Was your dad already here, or did you guys move out here to start the business?
Yeah. So he moved out here about 6-7 years ago, I would say. We would always come up and visit. It's beautiful out here. We always love coming out. He got a couple of rad power bikes, e-bikes, just to have around the house, and that was just our favorite thing we would do when we came out here, is ride the e-bikes around. So he thought about, my dad's always someone, how can I make money on this? He looks at everything and imagines a way to start a business or something along those lines. So he started renting them out, just got a handful of them, put out newspaper articles, real small stuff.
And where could you rent them out of? What did he?
Parking lot across the street from his house.
Okay.
So that's kind of how it started.
So it wasn't a garage business, but it was the parking lot across the street.
Yeah,
okay, got it.
With a shed.
Yeah.
That's about it. So went really well. People kept asking him, where can I buy these? Where can I buy these? And again, him being him, he got sick of sending them elsewhere.
Sure.
But needed help opening a store, obviously. So he came down to Kansas. I think it was like 105 degrees that day. We got lunch, and he pretty much pitched the idea to me.
Really?
And I never really looked back. So
because you weren't living here yet?
No. That first year when he was doing it in the parking lot, no.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a great story. I mean, when I think about people who are entrepreneurs, and that they get to do it in a family setting, that's even better. What was, just out of curiosity, what was your dad's background? What did he do for a living before he started doing this?
He's been a food broker a lot of times in the past. He's always liked biking. He would do gravel races and stuff in Kansas. So he's always had a big interest with that. I used to help him. We had a seafood market in Kansas, ironically enough. So I've always
just at the foot of the mountains, right?
Yeah, right. So I've always kind of helped him out, all of his oddball businesses, so to speak.
Yeah.
But this one's been really fun.
Well, so. I think it's cool, because I know that there's going to be people listening and who are have listened to some of our podcasts in the past, and we do talk to a lot of entrepreneurs. And I don't know what it is about Colorado. Maybe it's the altitude, maybe it's the air and everything else. But people do come here, and not only do they dream, but they end up starting businesses that can be very successful. And I think our economy is so tourism focused, and so I'm curious, like, Sam, what's your role at Manitou E-Bikes? What do you do?
Well, it's morphed over
Yeah,
time.
sure.
I've put on a lot of hats, taken off a couple. But yeah, I do all the service. I build almost every bike that comes out of our shop, maintain our rental bikes, sell the bikes, and
Okay.
provide that service after a customer buys. My dad mainly, he likes getting up early in the morning, doing the rentals in the morning, being outside.
Sure.
But he certainly helps a lot inside the shop as well. But yeah,
And tell us, what's the address? Where exactly is the shop located?
we're in the heart of downtown Manitou Springs, so at 906 Manitou Avenue.
Okay. So let's take a minute and tell people a little bit about Manitou, because you end up coming here. If you live here, obviously you know where Manitou is. But for a listener who is putting their plans together, how would you describe Manitou Springs?
It's a fun town. It's a fun, very quirky town,
Yeah.
I would say. You can come there on a Wednesday in the middle of the summer, and it's super busy.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of fun out of that. In the winter, it quiets down. It's not a ski town or
Sure.
anything like that,
Right.
so you can get your peace and quiet there as well. But yeah, it's just a really fun, poppin' town. A lot of great restaurants, a lot of great shops, a lot of great people. So
Yeah, you're right. And I think that also one of the things that people know Manitou for is the incline. And we know on our website, like the amount of traffic that people, they get here and they kind of go, we're going to talk about how they might be smarter to do an e-bike before they go do the incline. Because our friends at the Manitou Chamber talk about the fact that, someone will come in and they'll be looking for information. They'll say, yeah, I want to go do the incline. And they'll say, well, how long you been in town? Oh, I just got here. You're like, I can't wait to do it. And they say, okay, well, you might want to acclimate just a little bit. So for those of you who are thinking about planning a trip, and include Manitou for sure in your itinerary, but the incline, give it a day or two and stop into Manitou E-Bikes. And so, all right, let's go to the fundamentals here. We probably have people listening who have heard of an e-bike, but they might not have grown up, clearly not have grown up with one, or maybe have never ridden one. So what do you tell people when they ask you, Sam, about the difference between a regular pedal bike and an e-bike?
So there's a lot of different kinds of e-bikes.
Okay.
That's kind of the problem and what creates a lot of confusion of what an e-bike is. You'll see an e-bike with big 5-inch wide tires that's screaming going 35 miles per hour down by you, and you're like, oh my gosh, these are all insane.
Right.
But for the most part, an e-bike is just a bike with a battery and a motor on it. No, they don't recharge by pedaling. Maybe there's some out there that do, but most of them don't. That's a super common question that I get.
Sure.
But basically, it just makes pedaling easier. So extends your range for a lot of people that have disabilities, or, there's just one big super steep hill by their house, and that kills the whole bike ride for them.
Yeah.
It just helps you get over that. So.
And okay, so that now at Manitou E-Bikes, are there different types of speeds and bikes that people can rent?
Yeah. Well, for the rentals, they're all pretty uniform. We have them all class 2, 20 mile per hour bikes.
Max,
they're fat tire bikes as well. So people like to take them to through the Garden of the Gods, and there can be a lot of sand and grit and scree out there. So the fat tire bikes have really good traction to be able to ride out there safely. So.
Yeah. And then, but you also sell bikes.
Yeah.
Okay. And can you purchase a wide variety of speeds and bikes in that way?
Most of them will all be set to around 20 miles per hour, just out of the box. You can customize some of them, but being 20 miles per hour, that keeps them in at least the class 2 and below designation of e-bikes. Again, it's confusing. There's all different types, but there's primarily 3 different classes of e-bike that are out there. Class 1 being 20 miles per hour with pedal assist only.
Okay.
Class 2 is 20 miles per hour with pedal assist and you have a throttle.
All right.
Class 3, they go 28 miles per hour. Doesn't matter if there's a throttle or not. Anything that's over 750 watts is technically not classified as an e-bike. So again, I keep saying it, but it is tricky.
Yeah.
There's all different kinds of e-bikes out there. So when people see one e-bike, they'll think all e-bikes are like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we come in to try to kind of clarify that for people. So
Maybe not a fair question, but I'll make you think about this for a minute. What would you say the percentage of people are that come to Manitou e-bikes and this is the first time they've been on an e-bike?
for our rental, I would say it's 85%.
Wow.
That's very, very high.
Wow. They're on vacation
Yeah.
and they're going to try something they've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
That's cool. I had no idea it was that high.
No, it's a vast majority. And when we do get people who rent who are like, oh no, I've got my own e-bike, I know how to do this, we're just like, oh, thank you. Makes our job a little bit easier. We don't have to start from the ground, you know.
But see, that's what's so great. I think that for listeners, if you're really thinking about something to do in the Pikes Peak region that you don't do at home, that we are, it's an amazing place and to go out and see, and if you can see it by e-bike. So, all right, we've got people listening who are all ages. We've got people that have families with young kids. Talk about, do you do lessons? Do you do tours? How do you have child seats? How does that work?
So we try to accommodate everyone to the best of our ability. We do have the family bikes, so we have these big cargo e-bikes with a big long rack on the back, so you can put 2 kids on there, whether they're just riding on the seat pad or one in a child seat, one on the seat pad.
Okay.
We try to accommodate families to the best we can. We have pull-behind trailers as well. The lessons, so a lot of people, they'll rent, and they just don't feel confident. They don't feel comfortable, and that's where we stop feeling confident and comfortable as well, because we just want everyone to have a safe experience and have as much fun as possible. So we give everyone a brief little lesson before we go out, make sure they look good, feel good. Before
Helmets
they go
fit.
out. All that.
Yeah.
May ruin your hair for the day.
You're going to have a bad hair day on an e-bike. Yeah.
But you'll be safe, and that's the most important thing. But we also do the independent lessons. So a lot of people, they call us, primarily our older customers, they really want an e-bike, but they don't want to drop $2,000 and then not be able to ride this thing.
Sure, right.
So we'll kind of, everyone has ridden a bike at some point. The old adage is true. You don't forget how to ride a bike.
Okay.
But when you throw a motor on it and it can zip you around 20, that can, make you a little cautious. So our lessons really help people out with that. So.
Okay. And are there tours, are there group tours where if somebody's listening to this and they're thinking, oh, I work with 15 other people that are just great, like a team building sort of thing. Do you do tours?
We used to do tours. We don't anymore.
Okay. All right.
We found the rental just to be the most efficient for us for how small we are.
But do you have groups that ever come in and just say we're going to go out and ride together?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Okay.
We accommodate large groups, and that's a big thing. We have had a lot of companies like that do group building exercises with us, where we'll have 8, 16 of them out at a time.
Wow.
They all have fun, so or at least I hope so.
Yeah. Well, you've already you mentioned Garden of the Gods Park, okay?
Yeah.
And pretty much anybody listening to this has either heard of it, or if they're coming, they've, it's like on their list. From where you're located in downtown Manitou Springs, what would you say is the most common destination that people are going to go out on their bikes?
It's the Garden of the Gods.
It is to go to Garden of the Gods Park. Okay.
I mean, it takes like 6, depends how quick you are, but 6 to 8 minutes to get to Balanced Rock from our shop. We generally just get people off Manitou Avenue. That way they're not immediately in the traffic
Sure.
that you can experience on that road sometimes. But yeah, it's all 20-mile-per-hour roads and bike lanes and paved trails that they're riding on. So we try to keep it as safe as possible for everyone.
Sure.
We always recommend come in the early morning, before everyone starts waking up.
Right.
Obviously, and I mean, it's really beautiful at that time of day. In
Yeah.
the peak summer, it's not going to be hot. You'll have all the space in the world to yourself. So,
When I think about the times, you talk about the time of day, how long will people normally rent bikes for? And you do it by the hour, a couple hours? How's that work?
yeah, we do it all hourly. Our most common by far is the 2 hours. But, our max we usually let people out is 4 hours.
Okay.
Just because that's when the batteries can start to get shaky, just
Yep.
depending on how you're using the bike. But, if you're out there, you're having a good time, like, I want to go for another hour, people will just call us and we'll be like, all right, we'll settle you up when
It's
you
like
get
adding
back.
money to your parking meter,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That works out. So you've lived here 3 years, and you probably don't e-bike in Garden of the Gods Park, right? Too often.
I do,
But-
like, and, with the tours, I used to be out there almost
Sure.
every day riding through there. And it's, I still remember my first time when I visited and rode on one of my dad's bikes out there. And it's just a roller coaster out there with the hills and the turns.
Yeah.
It's just a really engaging ride. And then you have the scenery as well. So
Of course.
it really doesn't get old for me.
If we don't see you at Garden of the Gods Park, where are you pedaling, or where are you on your e-bike? Where do you like to go?
So I live on the west end of Manitou, so I can access a lot of trails just behind my house, which
Okay.
that's the easiest thing to do.
Right.
Cheyenne Mountain State Park, that's another beautiful area with a ton of trails with all different difficulties for people.
Sure.
Santa Fe Trail, that's a really popular trail that runs by the Academy.
Yep. Air Force
that's
Academy.
real
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
And Mueller, I've gone out there and biked at Mueller a couple of times too. That's real pretty.
So, one of the things that's been happening here lately, and I'm sure you and your dad have been keeping track of this, is that the city council in Colorado Springs has now passed some laws that will allow motorized bikes on some trails that previously had not been permitted, correct?
Right, yeah.
So what advice, or what have you guys, what do you think that's going to do to your business?
It's all still, despite that ruling going out, one of the main problems is it's confusing where you can and can't ride your e-bike.
Okay.
One, it matters, again, going back to it, what class is the e-bike.
Sure.
Dictates where you can and can't ride it as well. So we've just been informing a lot of people. At Class 1, generally, starting July, when they start rolling out this rule, you'll almost be allowed to ride that anywhere.
Okay.
So again,
So
not
July
all-
2025 is when Class 1 should be allowed on just about all trails.
Yeah, yeah. So, and again, say you have a Class 2 e-bike, it's a big, fat tire, 750-watt motor bike. As long as it goes 20 and you unplug your throttle, congrats, you have a Class 1 e-bike now.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So that,
yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can kind of tune them down, so to speak, to give you more places you can ride it. So.
Okay. All right. That's good. And I'm sure that one of the great things I'm sure about renting from you all is that you're going to tell people what they need to know about something like this. There's some folks, I mean, we certainly see people who, have e-bikes on their back of their car and they're coming in, but they may not know what the laws are.
Yeah.
And, you just reminded me about something that we at Visit COS on our website, there are a lot of people who come to us, obviously looking for information. And I think we should become a resource for people to get answers to those questions about where can you take an e-bike.
Yeah.
So this will all be something that we want to work with the industry on and the city and parks and make sure that we're giving people all the right information to make it enjoyable for those on e-bikes and those that aren't, because obviously we have a lot of hikers and people that share those trails. So, okay, good. Well, listen, let me before we start to wrap up, I want to take a second to talk about some exciting news from Visit COS. Our 2025 official vacation planner is now live. Our team works in partnership with Pikes Peak Region Attractions every year to put together this free planning resource. This year invites visitors to put together their perfect Colorado Springs mixtape, checking out offerings new and old. Pick up your free copy at the Visitor Center or order online at visitcos.com/plan. You can pick it up in Manitou at their chamber as well. And I'll bet you we can even make sure that Manitou E-Bikes has a copy of Visitor Guides that they can give out to people as well. So, all right. So Sam, here's what I'm going to ask you. I know you've lived here for about 3 years, but we like to ask all of our guests these 3 questions. The first one is this. In just 3 words, how would you describe Colorado Springs?
Beautiful would be the first. Growing would be the second. Even in 3 years being here, I've seen it grow. And talk to anyone who's been here for a while, they'll tell you. Opportunity would be the third. A lot of opportunity out here.
Yeah, because you're living it.
Yeah,
yeah
exactly.
You're living it. Okay, that's great. Good words. What would you say is your favorite hidden gem anywhere in the Pikes Peak region? From Canyon City, Pikes Peak, what's your favorite getaway place?
It's glaringly obvious, but it's Pikes Peak.
It's Pikes Peak.
Up on Pikes Peak, there's the Devil's Playground area up there. That's kind of my favorite place to hike,
Sure.
I'm on a bike a ton, so when I'm not on a bike, I really enjoy it.
Right. Okay.
But hiking around up there, like 12,500 feet, it's just beautiful. You can't beat it.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's you're not in Kansas anymore, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Not in Wichita. All right, so this one will probably be an easy one for you because after just 3 years, there's got to be places like what's the number one place on your bucket list that you haven't gone to yet that you want to do?
In the Pikes Peak region?
Yeah, in the region, yeah.
Shoot. Bear with me here.
It's all right.
That I haven't gone to. You speaking like natural places?
Well, whatever. Or maybe there's an attraction. Maybe there's some place that you've just said I have not had the chance or made the time to go do this.
I haven't been down to Canyon City.
Ah.
Yeah, so I haven't been to the Royal Gorge or any of that.
Okay.
Yeah, so
that
looks really fun to me.
Have you ever whitewater rafted?
I have been like a long time ago.
Okay.
But not as like an adult.
Canyon City is it's a great place. So for people that are listening, Sam's talking about the Royal Gorge region and the Royal Gorge Bridge and Park and the train and whitewater rafting on the Arkansas. It's fabulous. And a lot of people will do day trips from Colorado Springs. It's only about an hour from here. And I would say to you to really think about booking a whitewater rafting trip, and then go into the park and the train that they have meals on the trains, a couple hours, and we just did a podcast with the Royal Gorge Railroad, and so you could put together a really fun trip to go down there. So I would encourage you to do that. Well, all right. So Sam, let's do this. Let's wrap it with telling people where did they go to get all the information they need on Manitou E-Bikes.
You can go to our website. It's just ManitouE-BikeCo.com, no dashes.
Okay, ManitouE-BikeCo.com.
Yep. You can find us on Instagram at eBike Manitou Springs. You can find us on there. Or find us in person at our shop, 906 Manitou Avenue, Suite 102. If you're dead in the middle of downtown Manitou Springs, you're not far from us. So.
If you're dead, it could be you could be there for the coffin races.
Yeah, right.
If you're smack dab in the middle of Manitou.
Yeah, really committed to the coffin race. Yeah.
Yeah, living the brand, living the theme there. Sam, thanks a lot for just giving people an idea of something to do. And if you're saying that like 85% of the people that roll into Manitou e-bikes are first timers, that really should tell listeners to make this part of your trip. So hopefully you'll get some new fans out of this.
Yeah, we'd love to have them. So thanks for having me, Doug.
Yeah, thank you, Sam. Appreciate it.